Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I want to talk about some new features released by the 2021 Business Central Wave 1 release. So it was released on April the 1st, but because at the beginning there's some issues, Microsoft stopped the rollout and then resumed again around April the 20th. And then so my tenant has already been upgraded, so you could see my version is already version 18. Okay, so in this version there's a few interesting new features I would like to talk about, and some features like if you use the feature management and enable them, so you might already see them, like the new sales price. You already see them if you ever enabled it in the feature management before. Okay, but it was formally released in this version. And so the first feature I want to talk about is like in this version 18, you have the ability to change the dimensions. So like I'm on the general ledger entries, and I currently filter my global dimension 1 code, which is the department code by ADM, and I have these entries. Let's say I posted these entries and they're categorized in the incorrect dimensions. I want to correct them in batch. So you see I have more than 10 entries here. So what if I want to correct them in batch? So I can click on select more. I can highlight all these entries. Then I can click on entry and correct dimensions. When I click on correct dimensions, then you can tell them what is the new dimension you wanted to change. Then from the drop down, I want to change it from the administration to sales. Okay, and you could see right now the status is still like draft. Then you can select to update the analysis view, which link to these GL entries or not. Usually you will turn that on, so the analysis view can be updated. And then you can click on, before you click on run, you can validate the dimension changes to see how it will work. Okay, and so I just want to run this immediately to so I can turn on run immediately and click on OK. Okay, so dimension correction was successfully scheduled. So if I refresh this page, let's refresh this page and to see if, so if we go back to our Business Central, go back to the general ledger entries, then we should see those dimensions being changed to the other dimension I just categorized. Okay, so let's go back here and remember my department. I changed the department to sales. Okay, so another thing what you can do is like if you want to filter to this value, right? So in Business Central on-premise, like you can filter to a certain value. You can highlight the line which has that, and then you can say filter to this value. Then you can see it just a filter to this department code which has sales, right? And we do not see anything. So previously we have those general ledger entries which has ADM. But now we don't have anything which has ADM anymore. So I'm going to clear the filter, and then I will say filter to. Then this will be ADM. You could see there's still one. This could be the one we missed, but you could see we don't see the other ones. So all those ones we selected, they have already been, the dimension has already been changed to ADM. Okay. So this is how you can batch change the dimensions in this version. And except for this, there's another nice feature. You can go to your assisted setup. So for the bank statement, if you want to import a format, like you want to download the bank statement from your online banking and import to Business Central, and previously you have to create data exchange definition. So on this version of Business Central, what you can do is like you can go to assisted setup, and then there's a setup of your bank statement import. You can see here, and you can just run through this wizard. It will bring you step by step. You can download the sample bank statement file, or if you already have a file from your bank, you can just upload that bank statement file. So I'm gonna choose a file I already created. Let's say that's a sample file from my bank. And then I'm just gonna click on next. When you click on next, then you can see the mappings, and it tells you like which columns in your Excel spreadsheet will be mapped to where. So date, amount, description. This is what you have on the file. That's a preview. And then so for the column separator, then currently you could see it's by comma, and it tells you only have 3 columns. So then the next screen is like the mapping. You can see the date, amount, description, they all mapped to a certain columns here. And then I can click on next, and this is the date format. So my system date is in this format. I'm just take that default. I'm just gonna click on next. So then this process is finished. And it asks you to select a bank. So this is the format code. You will see this code in your data exchange definition after this process finished. And then we have to select a bank account associated to this. I'm gonna just select this checking account for now. And then, okay, so because I did this before, so it tells me it's already associated this. Okay, so that's fine. Let's click on finish. The record in table already exists. Okay, so what I can do, the reason you see this because I already ran through this once, and I can go to this account, bank account, and then just delete that from my record. Okay, so if you go here, and then on the bank, you could see under the bank statement, I already have this record created. Okay, so this was auto created when you do that import. I'm just gonna delete, so this is sample bank. Okay, so I'm gonna delete that and just leave this bank account blank. So then I will be able to go through that wizard. So let's go back to the wizard again, then click on finish. Okay, so it's done. So at the same time, when that's done, then you can go to your data exchange definition. When you go to the data exchange definition, then you will see you will have a new code, which is called bank. So that's just which is called the sample bank file. So that's the same file name. Like if you didn't change the file name, then that will be the same file name. Like you see here, it's called sample bank file, and this is called the sample bank file because it's code. This is code, so that's why it's in capital. So that's the data exchange definition automatically created by the system after you go through this wizard to import your bank statement. So you don't need to manually create this data exchange definition by yourself. Okay, so now the next step is like you can associate that. We can go to the bank account again, and then just fill in that bank statement import for this checking account with that one sample one we just created. So this is already created, right? Because as I said, when we go through that wizard, it's asking you to link it to a bank account. I linked it to this checking account. So this field is populated. We just come here, do that to double check. It's automatically populated, right? So after this is done, then you can create a bank account reconciliation. I already have a bank account reconciliation created for checking in my system. So I'm just gonna quickly use this one and then try to import that because the format, the mapping is already created with your Business Central. Then we can just select that import file to import this bank statement. Okay, so I only have 4 lines in my sample file. So you can take a look. You can also see that during the wizard import process because you can see that in the preview, right? And during the wizard import process, you can also, if you don't want to use that format from the import, you can specify your own data exchange definition with the wizard as well. Okay, so that's a nice feature. So that's a second feature I like in this version. And another feature is like you can go to your Dynamic 365 sales connection. Then you can set up the inventory synchronization. So in the Dynamic 365 connection setup, then you can, so if you're at the same time you are using Business Central, you are using Dynamic 365 sales as well. And so you want to synchronize the inventory between Business Central and your Dynamic 365 sales. So if that's the case, there's a new feature in this version. It's to synchronize your inventory, automatically sync item availability. Okay, so this is the one. It's under the advanced setting. If you have to turn this, on, and then it will automatically synchronize your item availability, your inventory from your Business Central with your Dynamic 365 sales. Okay, for the products. And so some other features I like is like you as a partner previously in Business Central, for the Power BI connection, you can only use the web services. So you have to publish a page with the web services, and then you have to publish it with the old data service, and then a page or query you have to publish and enable. After this publish button is enabled, then you can go to your Power BI desktop and connect to your Business Central Online with that published web service. But in this version, as a Business Central partner, we can create a third-party API, and which can extension which can connect Business Central with Power BI. So that's about the Power BI connector. There's some improvement on this as well. And another nice feature I saw is like on the item for the item availability. Previously, you only have the item availability by location, by event, all those availability, right? So in this version, you also have the item availability by lot number. Okay, so if you go to your, not here, it's a, let's see if it's under, it's related. So sometimes it's hard, you have to go to more options, related and availability. Then you can see item availability by. So previously you only have this event period, variant, location, BOM level, unit measure, and this lot is a new feature which just added in this version. So you have the item availability by lot in this version. Okay, and something else is like in this version, you also have the inventory receipts and the inventory shipment. So these are two different documents, and the format of these documents is similar, like the purchase order and sales order. You have the header, you have the line, like those documents, and so you do not need to enable any warehouse features from the location card. And you can just use this to receive your products. So some people will ask why, what's the necessity of this feature? Because you already have the feature to use item journal. If you don't want to use the documents to do the receiving, then you can always use the item journal to adjust in the inventory and adjust out the inventory. Then what's the purpose of this inventory receipts and inventory shipment? So because you can fill the headers and lines the similar like you're filling the documents, right? But you don't need to go through a sales document or purchase document. So, and also you don't need to turn on all the any warehouse features on the location card, because considering those warehouse features, there's a more complicated than you have to create a different process and documents. But in here, it's kind of you separate your warehouse worker with your CSR or purchaser's responsibility by using different documents, and then they also can complete their different responsibilities, tasks with these different documents. But at the same time, you do not need to turn on any warehouse features on the location card. For the warehouse features, what I mean here is like you do not need to turn on like so at this blue location currently I don't have anything under the warehouse turned on. So like I don't need to say like require put away or require shipment, require receiving or require pick. I don't need to turn on any of these, right? And so none of these features need to be turned on to using the inventory receipts and the inventory shipment. That's an additional document, follow the same structure like your purchasing document or sales documents, but it's separate. You can separate different people by different responsibilities with these documents. Okay, so also if you go to your item tracking code, on the item tracking code, usually you can, on the item tracking code, and if you added item tracking code, you could see no matter if you turn on out here, turn on the lot number for both inbound and outbound, you also have this create lot number info on posting. Okay. So this will automatically, and this lot number info must exist. You have this to control the lot number info. And so if you have this turned on, and when you are doing the lot control and use the lot to control the quality of the products, then you can add additional information like additional notes. And when you are doing batch posting, all those lot information will be for the lot. All those lot information will be will be reflected on the documents as well. So if you turn that on, so that's about the lot serial number information. You can turn those on, create those during the posting. That's a new feature. And other features like the sales price. So it says in this version for the sales price list, because I have a previous demo for the previous release, but I enabled the new sales price feature from the feature management. I already showed you how the new sales price feature works. So in this version, that is officially released. And then in Business Central version 18, you can also edit the sales price while it's still active. So remember previously, in order to edit the information, it has to be in the draft mode, draft status. You cannot edit information when it's active. But in this version, I'm not too sure how feasible is that. So the only information I can see, I can edit is this price. So I can just edit the columns like you see the bottom pane. Right now, it only have the unit price information. I can change this to price and discount. Then you see after I change that, this column has discount information as well. And I can only change it to discount to display the discount. So that's the thing I found I can edit while the price sheet is active. Price list is active. So that's another feature available in this version. And there also another feature is the universal print. So in your so you have to go to the print management. Okay, so in the printer management, and previously you don't have this universal print. So this kind of, from this version, this universal print is kind of an Azure service which allow you to print from the cloud. But you have to purchase specific license. I'm not licensed to that. So in order, you could see if you add a universal printer, but you need to do some additional setup to purchase other license which associate to this universal print portal. If you go here, then you have to set up something, get a specific license on this. And then you should be able to get a service, manage and monitor your printers. So you have to do additional setup and purchase the additional license for this universal print. But that's a nice feature of like you can use the cloud print service, and you don't need to use the print node, all those third-party add-ons for printing anymore. Okay, yeah. So basically, that's, and also for the payment journal. So previously, there's a payment reconciliation journal, and for the payment reconciliation journal, previously it only does for the customer ledger. It only works for the customer ledger, vendor ledger. It does not have employee ledger. And there's a new feature, like when you run this payment reconciliation journal, so now it works for the employee ledger as well. Okay. Yeah, so basically those are the features I found interesting for the Business Central version 18. And so for some additional features, I may create separate videos for them. Yeah, but thank you so much for watching this YouTube video. So that's everything I have for this video. Hope to see you guys again next time.